Hi, morning everybody, it's Nick. Back to my old subject of parenting. So there was an event, something that happened last night with my middle son, and it's just opened Pandora's box really. We were just sat in the car at football, and he decided to start trying on studded football boots on the car seats, which are leather. It's a leased car, so obviously if it's damaged we get charged quite a lot of money actually. They have been told 100 times not to put the football boots on the leather in the car. Anyway, one thing led to another, and I pushed his foot off the leather seat, and he actually put his hands up to his face, and I just sat there really, a bit gobsmacked. I'm like, what are you doing? She says, and he actually said to me, I thought you were going to hit me with the boot. And it really physically took my breath away, because I thought, I just, I'm living in another world here, because I've never raised my hands to you, never mind about hit you with a boot. I've got no idea why you're thinking that. Now, actually, my vulnerable emotional side, feels absolutely terrible that, my son is scared of me like that, and my more rational side kind of goes, he's good, he knows he knows how to get to me, because actually he's in trouble about the football boots. He probably, I genuinely hope he knew, having never had a hand raised to him, that that's just not something that would happen. But by God, did it make me feel bad. So of course the conversation was no longer about the football boot. Anyway, putting that on one side, it did open a Pandora's box, and I thought, so, I look at lots of stuff from parenting, and I wonder whether I should, go on a course, read more books, and just generally try and get better at it. And this morning I've just wrote a few things down because it's been on my mind, and it realised, there's a few realisations that have dawned on me. One is I'm actually really, really scared. I'm actually really, really scared a lot of the time of being a parent, because I'm really scared of getting it wrong. And the thing is about fear is it locks away your instinct. It stops you accessing your instinct because you're scared. And then I think to myself, what is it you're so scared of? Okay, so I'm so scared of getting it wrong because the consequences of getting it wrong are really, really significant. But then when I dig into that a little bit more, do a little bit, classic consultant root cause analysis, it's getting it wrong. I've got 4 points. I'm like, because it's living with the uncertainty, because I won't know. Every decision I make, every approach I take, I don't really know if I'm getting it right, because they are their own people. There is so much judgment, it is painful. I cannot turn around without bumping into some kind of judgment. And I've actually had a couple of instances where people have responded to me in a certain way when they've realised whose mum I am. And it's made me feel really shit, because they stood there judging me, thinking, oh wow, he must get it from her. Or that's the story I'm telling myself. So I think the judgment one's a tough one. And, we're constantly, I've done it myself. Oh, it's the parents. Well, I'm one of those parents. So next time you say, it's the parents, I might be in that category. So maybe we should be more careful with that. And thirdly, it's so difficult to tick all the boxes. There are so many things we should or shouldn't do. Don't smack your kids, don't swear in front of your kids, don't label your kids, don't do this, don't do that. And I'm just like, oh God, I'm so confused, because I'm just a human being trying to do my best, and I can't tick all these boxes. One is because it's just, honestly, it's physically impossible, and I've got a fairly high level of intellect, and I'm a fairly capable woman, but Jesus, I cannot tick all those boxes. And secondly, I don't want to pretend I'm somebody I'm not. And it's really ironic, isn't it? all of the stuff that I go on about being ourselves. It's so important to be ourselves, because it just causes so much angst and a real grief if you lose yourself. And here I am actually losing myself as a parent, because all of this other stuff's around me and I'm just getting lost. And so fear means I am being, I'm losing myself, and I don't want to tick all the boxes. I want to be who I am, and I want my kids to have the parent that I am, all of me, the bad bits and the good bits, okay? And I don't want to lose access to my instinct. And I think I'm at risk of that. And when I look at the parenting books and stuff, I really do have and courses, I really do have quite a, pull back from it, because I'm really, really scared. I'm really scared that it might tell me or show me or prove some of my fears and just show me what a shit parent I've been. And I just don't know if I can face that. But then when I dig a little bit deeper and I go, so, okay, what's behind getting it wrong? It's about, I don't want to hurt or damage my children, okay? And neither do I want to allow others to hurt or damage my children. So I'm kind of fighting the battle on all fronts is a good way of looking at it. So, why don't you want to hurt or damage your children? Well, I don't want them to feel unloved. I don't want them not to love themselves. But most importantly, and it is there, I don't want them to end up like me. And I've written this down this morning. I've done a root cause analysis, and it's really hard. It's really hard. And isn't that an awful thing to think? You don't want them to end like me. Because, I think I've carried a lot of hurt and blamed people for that hurt. I'm not going to go into that. But anyway, the crux of it when I do this root cause analysis is I don't want them to end up like me. Because I have struggled all my life to love myself, and maybe that is why I make it such a big deal. Try and help others not to do that. And if I struggle to love myself, therefore others will struggle to love me. And some of those things have been kind of reinforced, particularly when I was younger, by some really not very nice experiences I had with people who I thought loved me and didn't. I'm not talking about parents. It's quite interesting actually, because it is perfectly possible to feel loved, and I've always felt very loved by my parents, but not to love yourself. Those two things are mutually independent in my experience. And therefore, where that leads me to, at the bottom of my root cause analysis, is the reason I am so scared of being a parent, of getting it right, of going on parenting courses, of doing any of that stuff, actually comes down to self-esteem and self-acceptance, and actually accepting your weaknesses and your strengths. And I guess that's why I'm really attracted to people like Charles Bukowski, who, you could argue wasn't the nicest person in the world, but actually I really admire the fact he had an ability to accept all parts of himself. And people like Brené Brown who talk about shame, because actually when you talk about a lack of self-esteem and a lack of self-acceptance, a lot of that is shrouded in things that you are ashamed of. That could, I suppose, be a bit of a ramble, but that is my root cause analysis on parenting. And actually the irony of it is, it's not really about being a parent. It's about learning to accept myself, and that's okay. And that maybe I don't have to tick all the boxes. And maybe I just need to listen, and not maybe, if we can take the fear away and reconnect with our gut instinct, I think each and every one of us probably knows how to parent our children. But stepping away from that fear and that judgment and learning to accept ourselves is where the real work is. And we talk about all of the superficial aspects of parenting, but on that root cause analysis, that's actually where it's at for me. So maybe I'm doing my own parenting course because I can't face doing another one by somebody else, which might show me things I'm not quite ready to admit yet. So that's quite deep and philosophical this morning, isn't it? So yeah, I hope that's of help to somebody. Have a great weekend.